Good morning. I am Laura Hart, and I am here with my colleague and my dear friend, Noah Diamond, who we have known each other, I guess, now for about 32 years. And Noah and I have worked together for the last 12. So, how are you today?
I'm great, Laura. Good to be here.
It's good to
Glad we
have
made it on.
you. Yes. This was our third or fourth try. We got to you got to roll with the tech, and
Yes.
that's what we did. So I run a company for those of you who may be new to Robofun that helps kids do creative things with technology. We help children love to learn by running classes, clubs, camps, private lessons, birthday parties, corporate events. And Noah is one of my right hand people who runs our on site facility. He is our senior manager of on site. And Noah is here today for me to interview to tell all of you more about what we're doing on site and how things are going. So Noah, your day started with a really good cup of coffee and a blueberry scone.
Yes, exactly. Let's skip to the important stuff, right?
Yes, that's great. Mine started with a
Yes.
walk to the farmer's market.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
So Noah doesn't have this on his little thing that says Noah Diamond next to his name, but
hmm
he works obviously in RoboFund and has for the last 12 years. So let's start with a few questions, and I'm sure it will go in different directions. And audience members, welcome. And if you have any questions, please add them. To begin with, what do you do in your job?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things I love about my job is it's very multifaceted. So I have a relationship with the teachers, I have a relationship with the students, and I have a relationship with the parents. Um, Essentially, to boil it down, though, with onsite, what I do is alongside
Okay,
some of my
so for everybody else, they don't know what on-site means. On-site for
ah,
us means, go ahead, tell us.
oh yeah, sure. Well, RoboFund has, for those who don't know, two divisions essentially. One is we have a center, RoboFund itself, where students can come to us and do those camps and after-school classes and birthdays. And then the other side of RoboFund is called Vision Education and Media. And Vision Education and Media goes into schools and leads after-school programs during the school day at schools. So similar mission, desire to ignite kids' creativity and get them inspired about learning, but different structures, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So Noah, we used to call this person the RoboFund mom, but because it's now Noah,
The
we probably could start calling you the RoboFund dad. So
RoboFund dad,
he
exactly.
is he's the person that your kids will get to know, you will get to know when you come to the RoboFund studio.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for 4 years, right?
Yes, exactly. And before that, I was a mentor at RoboFun and really loved teaching the classes and work more with that vision education and media side and would go all over the city to Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, teaching various classes. And it's one of the things that I think is really great about RoboFun is we provide an opportunity to connect really creative artists or grad students. Teachers who are transitioning out of their teaching job perhaps or into a teaching job um, with the capacity to teach our classes. And, I was that person for a while, like pursuing my artistic endeavors alongside working as a RoboFund mentor. And then, the rest is history.
And then you moved into a management position, and I hear that you have set a whole bunch of alarms, which I think we just heard one, for various ways of organizing your day. So what do you see our kids getting getting out of their time at RoboFun?
It's a great question. Well, I think one thing that happens at RoboFun is the classes are actually just that. They're so fun. For example, kids in a Minecraft class, kids love Minecraft already. But in our Minecraft classes, we're actually educating kids a lot about electrical engineering. For example, in Minecraft, you can create circuits, you can create machines that involve pistons, elevators, automatic doors. So while students are playing Minecraft and enjoying it, they're also learning about electrons and learning about leverage and various concepts. So the educational part kind of comes in really naturally, and so kids, like, our mission, kids are really getting excited about their learning because it's not just this abstract concept. They're actually getting to implement it. They're getting to do it, and it's the same with we have a new technology. Lego came out with a new robotic kit called Spike. Um, and, for example, this week, students are claw with Spike and a clasper, which are two different types of machines that can grab objects and pick them up. And so the students learning about all the principles and mechanics that make that claw work, but they're actually getting to have fun, using a claw to pick things up, which kids love to do those types of activities, right? So what I see kids getting is just kind of a natural integration of engineering and experimentation skills while having fun.
So let's back up a minute. So I remember that we had talked about getting a robot. I don't know if you have one handy to show or not.
Let me grab one. Hang on one
you
second.
grab one and I'll explain a few things while you grab one. So
Okay.
he's going to have to fight a child to release the robot for 5 minutes, which might be tricky. But in the meantime, while he's grabbing a robot, I'm going to just explain something. So every couple of years, like most companies, Lego updates what they create. And so we've been using something called the EV3 Mindstorm system, which now no longer will work with computers after June 30th because of a certain tie-in that is no longer supported. So all of last year, we started to learn this new system, the Lego Spike, actually designed by my friend Brian Silverman, who, as I'm thinking about this, I'd love to bring onto my heart-to-heart and talk with him about it. So the Spike is this brand new system. So all spring, I have been editing, trying, working on curriculum, and then working on it some with small groups of kids. But the big reveal is over the summer. So this summer, we've had all of these week-long curriculums, and I've been really curious how well they've gone, because I believe good curriculum is really the basis of really good learning. And I have to say, and I know this might sound like bragging, and I don't really mean it this way, it's better than I thought. I mean, every time I see the kids engaged in working with the Spike hardware and the Spike software, they are loving it. It's a little robot that's not tethered to, so you don't have a wire connecting it to the computer. They're learning amazing concepts of computer science, conditional statements, like if this happens, then this happens. They're learning how to use sensors so that if the robot has an optical sensor, if it passes over a certain color, you can make a program to do a certain thing. I have to say, it's kind of blowing my mind how well this product was put together by Lego and how well it is working in our classes. So here comes Noah back with the robot that he had to wrestle away from a child who was like, wait, I don't want you to take my robot right now. And what do you got to show us, Noah?
So this was one of the claw that I was showing you. And so see, it's programmed with what we call a touch sensor, essentially a button, where when it's pushed, the claw will open. The student has programmed it to open and close in one go right there.
Very cool. Very cool. And what is the goal of that robot?
So this week, the theme is the environment. So each week of summer camp, we have a different theme. And so the teachers are working a lot with the students to use the ideas of the claws and the claspers for like cleanup and, various things that protect the environment. But so I'm not sure specifically what this teacher is going to have, what kind of challenge she'll have them do with it. But they'll definitely be using it to pick up other Legos and some kind of challenge.
Yep. Okay. do it one more time, and then do you want to bring it back out, or is that child gonna? Are you? We're not in snack yet, right?
No, yeah, I'll bring it back in a moment.
Okay. All right.
He's working with another student right now, though.
Okay. So what do you think about this new platform, the Spike platform, and the curriculum we've created?
So I myself have done just a couple trainings with it, and I personally love it because there's something, you know, I feel like Lego has been steadily trying to look more and more modern and technological with the robotics, and they kind of went back a little bit to the 80s with the retro look. But there's something about these Legos, and I haven't researched it, but they feel different. They're smooth. They have kind of an ease when they're being connected. There's something very tactile and comforting about using them. And teachers have shared with me and students have shared with me a similar feedback that there's something very satisfying about them. And they're also, they're very simple seeming, but they can, be extremely complex. You can do really interesting programming and challenges with them, even more so than the EV3, which was the previous tech.
So Noah, you've actually experienced, I think, 3 generations of Lego product.
Mm-hmm.
We started with something called the NXT, which was the first product. Noah, I sort of slightly feel like I plucked you from graduating from the University of Chicago. And at the time, both of us were a little younger, and I was starting my company, or 12 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and not quite starting, but I need really smart young people who can teach these classes. And so I was very fortunate to have Noah come along. And at that time, the generation of Lego was called NXT. You used that for about, oh no, you used the yellow brick too, right?
Yeah, well, they were both out at that time. There was still
Okay.
this brick, yeah, the RCX. That
Ah,
was that was old school. That was for the first and second graders.
right,
Um, yeah, we used that for parties for a while. Mhm.
right. So you've gone through all of the generations of product that Lego has put out for Lego robotics, other than
Mhm.
something called Dacta. That's very impressive. You have a real history with Lego products. So,
Yes.
um, and but I do feel like for some reason they pulled all of the things together with the Spike. It's easy to program. It's easy to
Hmm.
build. Um, but yet there's this concept called low floor, high ceiling.
Hmm.
Meaning kids can enter programming and building, because the blueprints don't have any words, in first grade. And we have 2 different groups. Is that correct? First and second, and then third, fourth, and fifth. First, second.
Third through sixth, yeah, third,
Okay.
fourth, fifth, and sixth. Hmm.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, and no, that's a really great point because the tech is the same, like it's the same entry point, but the older grades can just continue to do more advanced projects and challenges with it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Do you want to go return the robot before we go on?
yeah. I'll be right back, everyone.
All right. So while Noah's doing that, the second tech that we are using this summer, again after lots of testing all spring long, I thought it was going to kill me, frankly, but this is very important to me, and I wanted to get it right. So the other curriculum that we've been using is called Python, which you may know is a coding environment. And in the next few weeks, I'll have one of my Python teachers come on and tell you about it. But let's switch gears a little bit. What are you seeing with the kids who are learning Python?
I love seeing students work on Python. It's so exciting to me because Python, all of our classes, I think, are great introductions to tech and really give some fundamental skills. In our Scratch coding class or in the Spike classes, it's a similar coding language and it's puzzle pieces that get connected. And there are concepts that you have in coding, like iteration and sequencing and things like that, that are really valuable for kids to learn. But Python to me is the first time students at Robofun actually aren't just learning something similar to what they would eventually do. They're actually doing what they would eventually do, right? Like they're actually learning language that can control and build websites, that can build apps. And I'm just amazed. class a week ago, a student programmed an art project where the computer drew and created a house and a sun, and it all happened. And it was because of, hours and hours of code that he had typed in himself. And that students are actually learning that practical skill is really gratifying to me. And to know that, as they go through RoboFun and they get passionate and interested in coding, that the culmination is this Python class where they're learning a really tangible skill that they'll be able to use in the world.
That's great. And
Yeah.
how are you finding they're liking it?
So Python, it seems like there are fewer students. Usually our Python classes are about 2 to 3 students, but those that do it really, really, really love it. They're really engaged with it, and I'm really impressed because it's not easy, right? There's a lot of troubleshooting. There's a lot of rewriting, and our teachers are doing a great job of being patient, keeping it fun, and the students are doing a great job of persevering and really working through some of these challenges to create great projects.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
In my blog yesterday, I wrote a lot about challenging children and like, how hard do you want it? And I think sometimes it's hard to find the balance because you don't want everything really easy. And yet you don't want everything so hard that you can never have success. So I think the Python is really pushing kids to be in an environment where they're not going to necessarily get it right for 2 or 3 times. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But that's good. And then, like what you're saying, not too easy, not too hard, that combination
Right.
creates a flow state, and I think that's the place that we really aspire to get kids to, where they're in that flow state, just building, creating, where it's challenging enough to keep them engaged, but not too hard, and easy enough that they feel like they can accomplish it.
Yes. Yeah. Flow state. That's good. That's good. So what's going on this summer? How does summer feel, and how does it feel compared to pre-COVID?
That's a great question. Summer, I'm really enjoying summer. It feels very relaxed this summer. In the past, like I would say pre-COVID, we would have 15 students in a class, these big classes. It was exciting. There were kids all over the place. And, it was, of course, great that they're getting to socialize and connect. And now the classes, we've obviously capped our class size, for safety reasons. Most classes are 5 students. The biggest class is 10 students. But it feels really calm and really focused. Like the students, each one, because of the smaller class sizes, is really getting a lot of attention and really getting to flourish. And they're playing. Before they were playing and growing. There's not that they're not playing, but they're really like getting to build. Like they finish something and they get to do the next project. They get to keep growing, and there's a nice focus, calmness, and momentum to camp this summer. It's my experience with it.
That sounds great. So the irony is, as a business owner, I'm a little sad that we don't have more kids.
Right.
But as a mom and as an educator, I realize how deeply our children are learning and how happy they are and how supported they are, which is ultimately the most important thing. So
yeah,
that's great to see.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on next week, and what do we still have space in for our parents who might be like, oh, I haven't figured out next week.
That's a great question. I'm going to pull up our schedule right here. I know that we have some space left in our kindergarten pre-robotics class, and that takes place in the morning from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we definitely have room in that. And we have one space left in both our 3rd through 6th grade Spike robotics class and our 1st and 2nd grade Spike robotics class. And then we've got some space in our Python class in the afternoon, and the Minecraft for 3rd through 6th grade class in the afternoon.
All right. I'm putting that on the chat, and that's good. All right. So Noah, I've watched you grow up a lot, which is maybe one of my favorite parts of my job is watching my staff evolve. And you started as a mentor for 8 years, you were a mentor, and then you moved into being a manager. And how was that transition? And, what are your reflections on the different positions that you've had?
It was great. And it was challenging. And I think like one of the things that I learned is, as a mentor, sometimes I would look at the company and think, why don't they do it this way? Why don't they try it that way? And I think a lot of people in positions like that might have those thoughts. And when I was a manager, I really understood why. I was like, oh, now I get it. And now I'm in a position to support or change things that I think, might be better. And that's a really, just in and of itself, that perspective change is really powerful. And secondly, I think that as a mentor, uh, one has to be organized, but the creativity and the passion lead the way. And I was definitely very creative and passionate as a teacher, but a lot less organized. And it's been a real journey of seeing how important it is to be organized and to plan and to follow through, and how all of that really helps the creativity go from an idea to a reality. So that's the thing I think I've definitely learned the most in this position is I've really grown in my ability to take an idea and follow through with it, by putting structures in place, because that's what's really needed in this type of position. So that's been a lot of fun and a really valuable skill that then now when I go teach comes back into teaching, where I'm more organized and thinking ahead for teaching as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So I wonder if we should do a better job of telling. So we call our teachers in the field mentors. So I
Hmm.
wonder if we should do a better job of telling our mentors some of the, like, why are we doing it this way? That you had that transition. That's something
Hmm.
for us to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and also that's unique to my personality too. That was me with everything. It wasn't unique to Rebel. It was more just like my rebellious young self thinking, why is it done this way, right?
Good point. Good
When
point.
I was like 20 years old.
So one of the things that we really value in the company is many of us are readers, and so we have a weekly book group, and Noah started a second weekly book group. You want to talk a little bit about it? I'm debating whether I'm going to join this one.
Yeah, definitely. So, um, my manager Alex and my colleague Morelli, we're all book fans, as you said, Laura, and I am personally a fan of Moby Dick, and nobody had read Moby Dick besides me. So we all got together and we read it. We read it very slowly, just a few chapters a week. It took us about a year to finish it. It was definitely an epic adventure, and then we read a book afterwards called Spinning Silver, by Naomi Novik, whose daughter actually came to Robofun and who I taught many years ago. Coincidentally, she's a great writer. And we're starting on the Brothers Karamazov now. So I suspect this will also be a long read, and you're more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
welcome to join us,
yeah.
Laura.
I'm thinking about it. I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of Les Miserables, and so I'm not going to think on two big ones right now. So,
Yeah.
um,
But it's definitely a great way to connect with team members and get closer and think together.
yeah, that's great. I think that's one of the things that I value in my little company is our connection to each other.
Hmm.
We are really like this little RoboFun work family. So,
Yeah, definitely. And it applies to the teachers as well. Like there's a real sense of care. Like, we know about the teachers and their lives. We're interested in them.
yep,
We work to get them work. And, the same way that I was a teacher and then became a manager, I think, and tell me if you agree, Laura, I imagine you do, like we aspire to support people in their growth and development to go from one stage to the next, whether they're with us for a period of time and then moving on to a full-time teaching position, or whether they actually come and work with us. We definitely have that as one of our values.
yep. And we definitely do. And we also understand that as much as I have eight full-time employees and about 20 to 30 part-time. And those part-timers, I would love to be able to give more work. I'd love to be able to give them benefits as I give my full-time people benefits, but that's not possible in the model that we have and in the way the education system works. But we do have a lot of people that stay with us. A few people have stayed with us. They move to Chicago or California and then come back and work with us again. So
Hmm.
we like that. So um, I do you have any last things you want to share with our parents before we go?
Um, it's great interacting with you. I love talking with you on the phone, hearing what your kid is interested in, supporting you in finding a good class for them. I love the feedback I hear from you about your kids having a good time. So thank you for working with us, for having your kids come here. And if you haven't, please reach out. Give me a call, 212-245-0444, extension 107, or send me an email at know@Robofun if you want to talk and hear more about what we do. We'd love to connect and see if we can find a class that's a good fit for you.
Thank you so much, Noah. And I feel very proud of you and value your hard work with the company. So
Thank you so much, Laura.
if those of you listening want to learn more, go to robofun.org. Give Noah a call. And we're still registering for those classes mentioned earlier for next week. We do also have a lot of private lessons. So if that's something of interest, mostly in person, but some online. And we also are bringing back and have been having our birthday parties on site as well. So, and as my social media people say, ask people to like us on the social media channels. So please like us if you're enjoying what you're hearing and if your child's having a great experience. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.